Hello there, welcome to She Network. My name is Joy Leng and I'm the founder of She Network. And this is the Celebrating She is Strong show. She Network is a women networking platform designed to support women in Singapore and Malaysia in using their innate strengths to empower others and themselves while living engaging and flourishing lives. So if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. This is a quote by Margaret Thatcher. Society expects women to continue carry on with the multiple roles that they have to play in life to continue to do it well as they always do all the time. And women are often guilty of allowing themselves to be treated as such. Women are phenomenal and amazingly strong in how they activate their strengths daily, faithfully, in loving service of others, and often at the cost of neglecting themselves. So, in this pandemic, we see that being intensified with women staying home and playing all their roles simultaneously to the detriment of their own well being. So, it is time to celebrate the strengths of this phenomenal woman that we live with, work with, and come in contact with. So, it is time to celebrate She is Strong as an acknowledgement of their contributions to all. Celebrating She is Strong is an extension of the She is Strong initiative, where we invited she's to take up scientific strengths assessment last month to discover their strengths to support them in this pandemic. So, in every episode of Celebrating She is Strong, we want to celebrate the She in Spotlight by publicly acknowledging her superpowers featured in her scientific strengths report. So join us in celebrating women as an extension of celebrating humanity united. This show is brought to you by She Network and SuperPact. Today is the third episode, and we are celebrating the phenomenal woman Elizabeth Ong and the amazing strengths that she has, as featured in her Strengths Profile report. Her real life strengths are centered, unconditionality, mission, rapport building, gratitude, bounce back, and change agent. And her unrealized strength is humor. Let's welcome this phenomenal woman, Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Joy.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Liz, give us a fun fact. Tell us something about yourself that most of us doesn't know.
Sure. Well, I think most people don't know that I've actually worked as a food delivery rider before.
Really? Food delivery?
Yeah, this actually happened after I lost one of my jobs previously. And, rather than moping in it, I wanted to do something about it. And also I wanted to train my cycling skills, my road biking skills at the same time.
Oh.
So yeah, I went on this experience and I thought it was pretty humbling, to be honest. Like, it's not an easy job for sure. Like, you see all the riders out there now. But it's also quite liberating at the same time.
Mhm.
Yes, Meryl, it's Deliveroo. And you get to see like so many people from all backgrounds, like HDB, condos, landed property, and get to see how people treat you also. Like the condominium security guards, they can be very nice or they can be quite nasty. But I thought that it was a great learning opportunity for me. Yeah, and pretty fun too. Thanks for asking.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing it. That's very brave of you to take on something like that. And I'm sure Deliveroo have a surge in their sales, right? Because we have this delivering. Like, do they like have special requests? I only want this rider to deliver my food.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Some of the food, the restaurants, they would notice me and then they're like, yeah, come back more. Stuff like that.
See, I knew it.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Okay. Liz, you might want to know that we have friends joining in the celebration as well. Jade is here and Matthew is here as well.
Oh, really? Jet?
Really?
Oh my God, hi guys.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for your support.
Okay, so how are you feeling right now?
I'm pretty nervous to be excited. I've never done anything live before, but I fully trust you, Joy. I know that it was also a learning curve for you, but we're here to help each other, like you said, and empower each other's strengths.
Well, I'm very excited to be celebrating your strengths. Liz is a personal friend as well. She's a really awesome person, and I felt that it was time to do this for you. That's why I invited you to be on this episode. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so to celebrate Liz, we have invited people who are close to her to share with us how her superpowers show up in real life. So the first guest we have to come and share stories with us would be Winifred. Welcome, Winifred.
Yay!
Hi everybody.
Hi, Winnie.
Hi, Liz. Yay.
Okay, so
glad to be
firstly,
here.
Winifred, share with us how you got to know Liz.
Oh, Liz and I, we were classmates, and we were doing the graduate diploma in applied psychology together, and we were in several modules. And one thing that I often noticed before I really talk to Liz is how cheerful and how collected she's always been. And so to me, the centeredness for her is definitely a realized strength. Like, she's always smiling and she's always very, very self-assured. And I think there is this likability around her too. You can't help but like her. Yeah.
I agree.
So very happy to be here to share. Yeah, there's a likability, very high ranking one. Easy to like and easy to engage. And so then we were doing a project together in the same group, and that's how our friendship started to deepen. And that was a year ago. And in the last year, we've gotten to know each other a bit more. And I really enjoy talking to Liz. She makes someone feel very comfortable, and she also has a lot of ideas. It's very fun to brainstorm with her. Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a specific story to share about how you've seen Liz's superpowers appearing in real life?
Yeah, I think the special story. Okay, let me think. I think it would be more like whenever we have our in a group setting. I think this was during one of the presentation, is how calm and collected she can be when we are we're discussing things, and she'll be randomly looking. I remember this was strength card. It was strength card, and she was looking at it, and then we're talking about certain things, then she'll just pull out a card and say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, kind of a thing. And it was that calm collectedness, self-assuredness working in the background as well. And it's just wonderful to watch, because we were quite amused at that point in time during the group discussion, that she could just be doing things quickly in the background and come in and come in and help
so
with things. Yeah, my little girl behind. Sorry.
She came to open the window.
Surprise guest.
Yeah, I forgot to shut the window, so she helped me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that was a story I always remember about Liz, and how she is able to just be spontaneous but she does it with very calmly and very matter-of-factly, Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember you guys teased me about it, and then y'all gave me the action card because I'm always in action.
Yeah, she just do it, but very calmly. I think the thing that come across is really how self-assured you are, there is that quiet confidence. There is that, I'm on top of things.
Thank you.
Any thoughts, Liz, about what was shared?
Yes, thanks, Winnie, for sharing. And I think she's talking about the centeredness strength in the strengths profile. And to be honest, this was only built up over time, over a few years, actually, when I started doing my meditation practice. So I'm not sure if you two know, but I went for the Vipassana silent retreat meditation.
Oh.
Yeah, I did it 3 times, and I volunteered 1 time. So what I really learned there is how to be present, no matter what's happening outside of you. It can be good things, it can be bad things, but you just don't lose your ground. You just stay focused in a moment. And in any moment, it's actually, there's no problem about it. It's just like when we think about the future, we get worried, or we think about the past, we feel like regretful, stuff like that. Then that's when we become unsettled or restless. So it took a lot of training. Like, I don't think I was like this like 5 years ago. But yeah, I'm glad that you can actually see it in me now.
Yeah, I feel it too. There is that confidence, like I said, it's the energy that you exude in that sense, you see. And yeah, I only heard about the yoga retreat after that, and I realized, oh, that makes sense. Then it kind of like, to me, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because it shows, you see. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. I would agree that I think there's something calming about Liz, and she's always, had this really smile for you. I think it's pretty amazing, even when we feel stressed in class because of assignments or whatever. She's just chilled, right? And I'm like, wow, that's an amazing quality, especially for someone so young to have that quality. Like most people will be frantic or like stressed out, but she's just chilled regardless. So I've never seen her stressed out ever before. No, she just manages her stress, so it's pretty amazing. So I can see why it's her number one realized strength, centeredness. Yeah.
I think it can. Sorry, Winnie.
I think it is like you come across as like really mature, Sometimes it's like when I found like when we know how young you are, then I'm like, oh wow, there's that maturity around you, and I probably come across because of that. You are comfortable in your own skin, and so there is nothing you're authentic that way, come across as being real, you see. So that makes it, maybe that's why it is such a attraction. People just naturally drawn to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so touched. Although inside is like still butterflies happening.
I know, right? So you see, this is case in point, right? I figured you'd probably be anxious, but look at her. She's just like speaking very softly and confidently and everything. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so let's hear more exciting stories about you and your superpowers. So let's invite our next guest. So let's invite Maria. Ta-da! Welcome.
Hi. Hey, Liz. Hey, Joy. Hey, Winifred.
Hi, Meryl. Welcome to the party.
Welcome to our celebration. So firstly, can you share with us, how did you and Liz meet?
Sure. I think this was 20. Oh my God, the year wrong now. I think it was about 2014, 2015. Liz and I were ex-colleagues at a Singapore startup. I guess I can share the company name. Is that all right, Joy?
Sure. Oh.
Yeah, if you're comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's quite all right. So the company was called E27. It's a media company that was really focusing on the technology and startup ecosystem, not just in Singapore, but in Southeast Asia. So when I joined, Liz was already there as part of the sales team. And you would think, the image of a typical salesperson, and if there's any salespeople in joining us, I don't mean this to be true for everybody else, but the idea, right, of a salesperson is this really extroverted, really high energy, kind of like, yeah, let's do this, let's close deals kind of thing. So Liz, I think Winifred was talking about Liz having this calm energy about her. And I think that's really what helped her do a sales role, but really be consultative about it. Because we were looking at Southeast Asia. I had the opportunity to travel with Liz as well to, I think, Bangkok. We went there a few times together to secure event sponsorships. And so I think this is where I really saw and admired Liz for being able to easily build rapport, because she's already so likable as a person. You really do just get, in a good way, like really attracted in this sphere of like just talking to her, engaging with her. And I think it's because she has such a genuine interest in people. Couple that with likability. I mean, Liz is just a natural when it comes to rapport building. So that's what I remember from like a professional sphere. There's so many meetings that I can't even think about now, but something in recent memory. I don't know if you remember this, Liz. This was before circuit breaker and all that. I think it was a Friday evening, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe not even a Friday, but we were planning to get dinner together, Liz and I and another friend. But the other friend couldn't make it. And so there was another colleague in my office who was looking for a dinner buddy. And I was like, oh, I actually have plans, but let me check in with Liz if she's okay. Of course, it was okay with Liz. And to me, I was really comfortable bringing that colleague / friend along because I know they would just hit it off. And I was right, but not because of me, but because Liz is just such a natural conversationalist. Imagine this, like, this is the first time they've met each other, and we were already talking about some really deep stuff, like human existence kind of questions and conversations. I only know a few people really that could even begin to do that. So yeah, those are some of my memories of Liz around rapport building.
Thank you. I remember it was a vegetarian restaurant.
Yeah, at Tanjung Pagar.
Yes.
Whole Earth.
Yes.
How do you feel about that list?
Oh, I feel so touched. Like, yeah, to me, I guess strengths sometimes they feel natural to you, and you don't know like how special or unique it is until someone points out that not everyone can do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I presume for you, when you think back in that episode, you feel like, oh, it's nothing, right? But yet it does leave an impression on people, and people are amazed that these are your strengths. I don't think that I would be able to have that. I don't have that kind of natural rapport. When I meet new people, I'm awkward. I'm like, what should I say? But you just go like, and then you just do your thing, you just do your magic, and then you're like, oh, it's nothing. Which is what when I coach strengths, what I repeatedly shows up time and again with different people. People get shocked that, that's my strength, because it's so natural. That's what strengths are. They're natural and they're energizing. You don't even feel like you're making an effort. But I think it's important that we realize and own our strengths and realize that it's not the same for everyone. It is our superpower. So this rapport builder is your superpower.
Thank you. And I really like what Mara said, that I'm just interested in the person. Like that's really the foundation of that, about why I can build rapport easily. I'm super curious about people, and I just want to know what makes their life meaningful, what troubles them, what are their challenges, what are they doing to work on it. So yeah, it just comes naturally for me.
And I have to say that Liz also asks good questions, because when you're curious about people, then you will always ask good questions that will get people to be engaged. So that's a wonderful skill and strength.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you ask good questions too, Winifred. I mean, as a professional relationship coach and therapist, we have to build that skill, I think.
Yeah, the open-ended questions so that you get people to talk more but I think beyond asking question, it is the attention. I think it's the presence that you give to people that will make a difference, because you can ask good question, and if you're not there, people can sense it. And I think when you talk, the centeredness and the being present, being there, and genuine curiosity, can't really fake it. I think people may be able to sense it. So I think it is more than just asking questions as well.
True. I do sometimes get backlash though. Like people are like, why are you asking so many questions? Are you interrogating? So I know that strengths cannot be too extreme. Like you have to manage them in a way.
Yes, so there is also such a thing as overusing our superpowers, right? We have to make sure that we use it in the right dosage, which in and of itself is also an art, but it's a wonderful journey to understand ourselves more, the best parts of ourselves, but then also it has to be with some kind of discernment and wisdom. It's like a lifelong journey. So I think that it's also wonderful that you have the strengths, but you also realize, sometimes it doesn't have the desired effect, and that's when you have to back off. That self-awareness is not always so common. We might know our strength, but then we might then just go all out with it, right? We're like, oh, but that's my strength. And like, especially certain strengths are so sensitive, like honesty. If you go all out, you know, you can have some pretty disastrous results. Yeah. So Liz, even though she's young, even though you are young, but you have that discernment. That's amazing, and that's really precious.
Thank you. I want to affirm Meryl for her strength too. Like, I think I see rapport building in you too. You led us to, I mean, at the School of Positive Psychology when we were transitioning from physical classrooms to online learning. And I actually asked Meryl if she could train like some of our lecturers and trainers on how to do that online training better. Because I mean, it's one thing to turn on Zoom and lecture about your content, but it's another thing to make sure that they're engaged throughout. And then, you know, out of the kindness of her heart, Mara just said, sure. And like, don't charge me. I'll just do it. And then she was able to build that connection with all of us very quickly. And it was like, I don't know, 15 people roughly. And just made us feel all very comfortable. And, you know, it took us through very patiently all the different steps to take. Like, no one was left behind. So I want to acknowledge that in Meryl.
Oh, thanks for saying that, but this is about you, so thank you.
It's okay. This show is about celebrating she's, and we are all she here, as you can see. Okay, so we're still not done with you, Liz. So we still have one guest for you, and that would be Wei Ping. Hi, Wei Ping.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Okay, Wei Ping, so share with us, how did you and Liz meet?
It's very interesting, actually. I met her in 2015 in January. And she was my client. I was a coach. So out of a number of coaches, she kind of like chose me to be her coach. And I was kind of surprised because Liz and I are very different people. Yes. So when I first met her, I was curious about how come she chose me as a coach. And I found out that actually that underlying all our differences, we actually have a lot in common. Okay. And I particularly enjoyed working with her also in the time that we were coach and client. Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah.
Okay. So in the time that you have known Liz, what kind of superpowers did you see from her?
I think one thing that struck me about her was her sense of mission. And when I say mission, it's about her having a very clear sense of self and what is important to her. Okay, and how I discovered this about her was when I was talking to her about her background and finding out about her. And it turns out that at a very young age, around in her mid-20s, right, she has traveled to many, many different countries, and the countries are not normal countries like Thailand or Philippines or whatsoever. It's countries like South Africa, Israel. I have no idea what other countries she has.
Exotic, yeah, exotic.
Really exotic countries. Okay, and she managed to do that through getting herself into her university entrepreneurship program, which sent her overseas. Okay, and she also managed to do that through the jobs that she managed to find to send her overseas as well. So it is not something that comes normally to people that, you know, that they want to fund their dreams, but they say that I'll do it later when I have enough money. But they do it now at a time where they can. And so for her, I found that she traveled to many different exotic places when she was at the age of her mid-20s. So that came from her sense of values where exploring new places was important to her. Getting to meet people was important to her, and that was what drove her to travel and to find a means to travel. Yeah. So other than her need, her values with regards to traveling, I also found that her stand as a coach was very strong, because after I did the coach-client thing with her, I taught her a bit of coaching for some time, and I found that she had a lot of care for her clients. And it comes from a basic human values that she has, that she respects human beings in general. Okay, and she cares for them. So no matter what client that you put in her hands, it's kind of like you can be assured that she will do her best with the client because she stands for them. And that comes from her deep sense of values also. So while I was teaching her how to coach, this was something that I found really amazing. And she achieved quite a lot of our coaching hours in a very short span of time. And rarely people actually do that. And that comes because she loves coaching and she wants to make a difference to the world. Yeah. So that's how I got to know her, and that's one of the things that I love about her. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's very good storytelling.
Mm.
So how are you feeling, Liz, based on what Wei Ping have shared?
I feel very seen, actually. Like, I can tell that she knows what's at the core and why I do the traveling. It's not just for fun, it's not for holiday, but it's really that intense like curiosity and desire to find out about other cultures, other people, ways of life. And yeah, not just because they're exotic, but mainly because most of these countries, they're the ones that have a bad reputation. Yeah, so I just wanted to see it for myself and not judge it first before I go there. Yeah, so I think that also applies when I coach my clients. Like Wei Ping said, like I do come from a place of deep care and concern for them. And I think one of my other strengths is also the unconditionality, which I think also plays a role here. Like I really just accept them as they are. I don't feel like, even though they have flaws or weaknesses, but that's okay because we all have that. So thank you for seeing me.
You're welcome.
That's beautiful. I think in particular, this strength of unconditionality, I think we probably need a lot of that more in this world right now. There's a lot of unrest going on. So yeah, we need more of you, Liz, out there. So please continue spreading and infecting us with your superpowers.
I'll try.
So how are you feeling right now, Liz? All your friends make time, show up to share stories of you.
I feel very appreciative, like super, super grateful. Like they didn't have to do this. They could say no to me. And, it's not like a very easy experience, I would say, to just speak in front of a stranger and talking about, your friend's strengths. I mean, I think most people would prefer to do it like in private, like, I don't know, face to face. So I just am very touched by their courage and their love for me in doing this. I owe all of you a meal.
I'd like to add something about this, if that's possible.
Yes, please.
One of the things about her sense of mission is that she's also not afraid to say no and to move on when things don't fit with her. So there are times in her life where, I sat through with her with many conversations about this, and we discussed about whether she should stay in a particular place or she should move on or she should choose a particular path or not. And I've always had the faith that she will make the right choice because she's very clear about who she is. Even though she herself at that point, she doesn't know. And she feels uncertain at that point of time. But eventually I never doubt that she would actually make the right choice because she's somebody who is very clear of her values and she never compromises on them. So that's something about her. That is very, very rare because most people tolerate circumstances which is kind of like okay, but not entirely right. Okay, but for her, when it's not right, she is not afraid to say that it's not right for her and to go on to somewhere else and to make a different choice for herself. And that's something that I found really rare in person. So yeah, so even when she was very, I knew her in mid-20s, right? Even though she was still exploring about what she wanted to do next. And I never had a doubt that she will find what she wanted to do. And I think in some sense, she's still exploring about what she wants to do, but I think it's become clearer over the years. And yeah, and I think this strength of her with regards to her mission and her values would stand her in good stead in the long run. Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't notice this actually. Yeah. Good strength spotting.
Yeah.
I think that's very powerful to or constantly being very clear of your values and all your decisions, and when your daily life it reflects your values. I think that's wow, that's priceless.
Mm.
And I think what's also very significant is to have that being pointed out to you, that's exactly what you do every day. You show up and you stand by your values in all your decisions. And I think maybe what I would like to emphasize is that this is what your coach says, that even when you feel uncertain, she is confident that you always make the right decision. I think this is really powerful and you need to own it.
I'm no longer her coach, by the way. I was just a coach for a short period of time. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Wei Ping and Joy, for that.
So
I would say
let's
that.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I would
go
say
ahead.
that I see that in her too, Wei Ping, like your mission and your values. So I think sometimes we just spot strengths in other people that we also have and ourselves. I don't know, maybe Joy, you can talk about this. Or we appreciate them for that because we also have that part in ourselves.
I think maybe it's a little bit like what they say, oh, you always like people who's like you, right? I guess that's some value in that, in terms of strengths as well, because you can recognize, right? Oh, my kind, right? In that sense, like, oh, I do the same thing maybe in my own way, but you recognize that it's the same track, right? It's the same kind of strength. So maybe that's why you picked her as your coach. I'm very curious actually, why did you pick her as your coach since in the beginning it seems like the differences were more than the similarities?
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I think I wanted someone to challenge me. So I knew someone who is like Wei Ping, you know. For me, I'm like pretty easygoing and I guess can be pretty soft on people. But Wei Ping, she's very like focused and like she'll push you to get the results that you want, that you set, the intentions that you have for yourself. So that comes from her values too and her sense of mission. And she also has that great presence. Like, I think if you actually meet in person, then you can feel it. But unfortunately, we're in this online call.
Actually, I can feel it already, her
You can feel
sense
it?
of certainty, right? Like, I think like, yeah, everyone's nodding their head. So, wow, so much love and
Yeah.
strength around this. I'm enjoying the love vibe. And you know, Liz, we all showed up today. We make time because we love you. And I love you so much that I also have surprises for you.
What? No.
Yes. That's the wrong
Okay,
word.
bring
You have
it
to say
on.
yes. You have to say
Yeah.
yes. Bring it.
Bring it
Okay.
on.
So I have a surprise for you. And I want to invite all of us to take a deep breath and count 1 to 3 together. Shall we do that? Okay. Ready? Take a deep breath now. 1, 2, 3.
Three.
Ta-da!
Hey, hi everybody.
Oh my goodness.
I am so honored to be here.
Okay,
because-
welcome, Yana.
Thank you. I couldn't wait to have my turn to share about Liz. So thank you, Joy, for inviting me. Hi, Winnie. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I've been listening backstage.
I can imagine Yana very impatient in the backstage. Yeah, hurry up, hurry up.
I've been listening backstage and just going, yeah, I see that strength in Liz. Yeah, I see that strength in Liz. And it has just been absolutely beautiful. And all of you like have shared all the strength that I also see in her. And I just want to tell 3 stories. How long do I have, Joy? Can I tell 3 stories? Is that okay?
You're being very greedy, but being greedy is allowed in this show, so go well. But before that, share with us how you met Liz.
Yeah, I was going to start with that. So my first story is the moment I met Liz, and I was the lecturer at the School of Positive Psychology. Well, I'm still the lecturer at the School of Positive Psychology, and I was teaching Intro to Positive Psychology. And Liz walked into my class, and my first impression, I know we're not supposed to make first impressions. I'm aware of this, but my first was like, oh my gosh, she's stunning. And she walked in, and it was like she walked out of a movie, okay, just looking glamorous and beautiful. And then she just drew, like, you just had to look at her. There was like no option not to look at her. And she just had this really lovely, warm energy around her. And I know Winnie knows as well. And it was like this, the smile and the zest. And she just walked into that room and just made everybody feel comfortable. She was just walking around going, hello, hello, hello. So, you know, that whole connector. And she just suddenly made everybody feel really, really warm. And I have to say that I just stood there in awe of this amazing, stunning woman that just walked into my classroom and was just so comfortable with herself and being who she was. And it was just absolutely stunning. And throughout the whole module that we had together, she was so caring about other people. And I agree, she's curious about other people, but at the same time, she was connecting and making sure that everybody was included in whatever we were doing. You know, she could see, like, I could see her watching and making sure, like, almost making sure that I was making sure that everybody got their turn to speak. You know, it was like, because she's just such a caring and kind person. And it's like, it was lovely. And she just approached me and we started chatting, and I knew that, okay, Liz is not just going to be one of my students that's going to go through this module. I'm going to hang out with this chick because she's awesome, right? Okay. So it was just wonderful. And then Winnie suggested the book club, and Liz jumped in on the book club as well. And she just kind of made sure that everybody was around and everybody was included. And every time we had the book club, Liz was the one that made sure, like, oh, we haven't heard from so-and-so yet what they think about the book. Oh, we haven't heard from so-and-so what they think about the book. Her level of empathy and inclusion of others is just profound. And it's just so wonderful. And then it got to the point where our book club grew, and we didn't really have space anymore in school to meet for our meetings. You know, it was like with classes going on and things like that. So we were talking about it. And Liz is a change agent. You know, she just, if she wants something, she will make things happen, right? So she contacted me and said, well, look, there's this bookshop we can use. Why don't we go check it out? And all that stuff. So we met. What was the name of the bookshop?
The Moon.
The Moon, that's it. Yeah. So we went there and we met. And we had a lovely, funky drink together and went and checked out this space, because Liz was like, okay, we can make this work. You know, we can meet here. It was like, she was so thoughtful about keeping this community together and growing. And, you know, when she sets her mind on something, she makes it happen. She makes positive change happen. She makes sure that we have the platforms and the space to create this positive change. And I so appreciate that about her. It's like she took action straight away. She was sending emails. She was, again, being the connector and connecting people together and all that stuff. And then we were sat there and chatting. And I totally agree with you guys. Liz, you have an enormous moral compass. Like, I remember that was whatever job you were doing at the time, and the job kind of evolved and you started doing something else, which wasn't originally what you were going to do in that job. And you suddenly just went, I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm not sure I am okay with doing that. It's not aligned with my values, and it's not aligned with where I want to be and how I want to see the world. And I just thought, wow, you are so amazing to have that clarity at a young age, and to have that just idea of like, I know how I want to contribute to make this world a better place. And she was so sure of it. And so, yay, she started working at the School of Positive Psychology, and now we're on the team together, and it's just been such a wonderful experience. So I get to do alignment meetings with Liz twice a week, at least, and at other times. And I have to tell you that she is, again, showing all of those strengths and having that strength of kindness and having that strength of compassion and empathy. Whenever we're in a meeting, she is always making sure that everybody has had a turn to speak. If we forget somebody, she's the one that says, oh, and asking the questions. And those questions are, yes, because you're curious about people, but I think it goes beyond that. I think it's because you genuinely care about those people and you want to make sure that everybody feels valued, appreciated, and heard in those meetings. And I have to say, she's the one that always stays optimistic. Your optimism is so high. Whenever there's anything going on, like somebody's sharing that they've done something, Liz is the first one to go in the chat and say, oh, well done. Fantastic job. That's so wonderful. She's the first one when someone has an idea to quickly go and research something and plonk it into the chat. She's the first one to encourage you to take that idea further and volunteers to help you make that happen. Okay. And it is just, she inspires me to take action to make stuff happen. So thank you, Liz. It's been absolutely wonderful working with you. Really, honestly, absolutely profound. And another thing that I think one of your greatest strengths is as well, Liz has an enormous love of learning, and she has an enormous pride in the work that she does. She's the first one to say, I don't think I know enough on that topic. I want to learn more. You know, it's like, I'm not sure I understand that 100%. I think I need to go and research that and learn more. She wants to make sure that when she's doing the job and when she's talking to potential students, that she can answer all of their questions to the best of her ability. And she puts so much effort into it and takes so much pride and makes sure that she wants to deliver the best to those people so that they have the information they need to make choices for themselves and the paths they want to take in life. And I really admire you for that, Liz. I think you are an amazing, beautiful woman. And it's like, I'm going to watch that space because I know that you're going to be doing some really cool stuff in life. And I'm looking forward to helping and supporting and being your wingman in any way possible. So,
thank you.
Those are the strengths that I can think of right now. I'm pretty sure I could be here longer and just keep going. But Joy has warned me. Okay. So, yeah, and I absolutely agree with all of you as well on like all the strengths that you guys mentioned while I was backstage dying to get on. Yes.
Anything you want to say, Liz?
Thank you. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to tears, like listening to all of you. And like, I feel less alone also. Like sometimes we just go through life and we don't know what effect we may be having or what influence we may be having, but just someone noticing it and then telling you that, hey, I noticed that about you and I've learned from you about how to do this, how to do that. It's very touching. Like I'm speechless, actually.
Well, you deserve it.
Enjoy it, savor it. We're all here for you, and you really deserve all the stories. These are all your stories that we are telling. It's not our stories, so you have to really own it and keep it close to you. And you know, like we are still not done with you.
Right. Okay.
So, okay, so to do this, I will have to let Yana come back in a little while later. Okay, so say bye for now, but she will come back in, okay?
Oh, bye, Yana.
Yes. Okay, so now let's take a deep breath and count to 3. Ready? Take a deep breath now. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da!
Oh my
Left
gosh.
the best for last. Welcome, Mervyn.
Hello, hello. Yes.
Then this is a conspiracy.
Indeed. I'm sorry, Liz. Yeah, Joy asked me first. Joy asked
I
me first.
don't be sorry. Yeah, first come, first serve. Okay, I booked the guy first. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Hi Winnie. Hi Mariel. Nice to see you again.
Welcome,
Hi, Adrian.
Mervyn.
First time
Yeah.
seeing you. Yeah.
So just to
Yeah.
explain the backstory,
Mhm.
so that no one is missing the fun part. So Mervyn is a very good friend of Liz. So Mervyn is, I believe, the first person she went to ask if he would come to the show. But unfortunately for Liz, I've already foresee that, and I have booked Mervyn, and I told Mervyn to tell Liz that he is not free, that he is occupied. And so, and Mervyn said, but I cannot lie. So I said, you're not lying. You're saying you're occupied. You just didn't say I'm occupied with the same thing.
He was very vague about it. I felt something fishy was happening.
We're a terrible actor, Mervyn, but still, nevertheless, thank you. I think Liz is enjoying this surprise. Yes.
Yes,
I tried really, really hard. Welcome, Liz.
We need to send you for some acting class, Mervyn. Fail.
Yeah.
High integrity, cannot lie, like me.
Yeah, it's the conflict. And yeah,
Okay,
actually,
so Mervyn, please share with us how you got to know Liz.
Okay, this is really funny because Liz originally was another colleague of mine. He was consulting her about studying in the school, and I just happened to walk past, and wow, who's this pretty lady that he's talking to? So I decided to butt in, and like, hi, yes, so you're interested in the courses here and all that. And so we, in a sense, we co-consulted Liz, but no, it wasn't just about her being pretty, but she is, but I just felt that she had a very good energy. I think like what Yana says, there's something about her that naturally draws people to her. It's kind of like when you see her across the room, you will naturally feel that there's something good there, and you would like to investigate more and find out just what it is. So I, naturally being very curious, went over and had a chat with her, and it was actually quite a lovely chat, and we even did a bit of coaching using the cards. Remember this? The cards with her and everything, talking about her value systems, and somehow she was convinced to sign up, which I am very, very grateful for. As Layana said, I think you're an excellent addition in the school, first as a student, and then now as a staff member. In fact, I did not know she was going to join on as a staff. It was the shock of my life when she suddenly showed up one day. Hey!
Yeah, I can surprise you.
Yes, you did. Certainly you did. But going back to what Wei Ping and Yana also said, and actually Liz and I also had a conversation about the values thing. And actually that's one of the first things I want to talk about Liz, the moral compass, I think Yana called it, but the integrity of being genuinely who she is takes another strength, which is bravery and courage. Exactly what Yana was saying, the previous place she was at, there was a lot of not just uncertainty, but a thing that against her value systems, having to do a job that she didn't quite agree with. She was in a bit of dilemma down there, I could see. But then we did the angel cards, Liz, remember? And you said that the card was indicative. Do you remember that one? The angel card?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. And she did talk about that fear of not having that job, but her bravery and her courage in spite of that fear is what really, really impressed me. Not a lot of people can do that. Not even myself. I do not know if I'm able to do that necessarily. And it is that strength of character, strength of conviction, that great courage that I really greatly admire about you, Liz, amongst 100 other things as well. I mean, what can I not say about you? Like the facilitation thing, what Yana already touched on. How can everybody already say the things I want to talk about? But it is true. It is true. Like we are running a support group, a circle of support on Tuesdays. And Liz is really, really good at facilitating. Like someone's going on for too long, she can just cut him off. Like that, like fruit ninja, slice him off. No mercy. And then move on to the next person. I can't do that. I really suck. I need to learn that. I love the fact that I learned so much from this. You know, it's like, and another great strength she has is her ability to offer constructive feedback. You know, I wouldn't even call it criticism, but rather critique. You know, it's like I give a talk, and after that, she actually pulls out, "Hey, Mervyn, you know, these are some notes from my previous training. You know, let's go over it together." And she'll start feeding me with ideas, and those are excellent ideas. They're really, really great ideas. So I think there's the side of a coaching part coming out as well. I've never seen you in work as a coach, but I'm pretty sure even in our conversations, you are doing a bit of coaching there. A bit of it comes through as well, and a motivational force for good, I would say Liz is, you know, especially the humanism, what we spoke about earlier, the unconditionality. In fact, I brought her to watch the movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And I think it really resonated with her. The humanism of Mr. Rogers resonated with her. And yeah, she just regards people as beautiful and unique in their own ways. And so, you look at me right now, actually, honestly, sometimes I can get a bit cranky. I can be a mean old man sometimes. And then this is like, hey, why are you like this? You know, and she just reminds me that, yeah, you know, as much as I am a humanist as well, there are still gaps in my humanism. And this, you know, she takes it to a whole new level. And especially I like what you talk about traveling the world to experience yourself. I didn't know that about you. And it was wonderful to learn that about you, that there's a part of you I didn't know, and now I'm getting to see it, and it just resonates so wonderfully with who you are as a human being, right? The only thing was that I actually thought competition was a strength. I was totally fooled.
She is competitive.
She is, but
She's competitive in a good way.
Yeah, it was. But that day we were actually having a conversation about it, and Liz said that it was actually a learned skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learned skill. It's not a strength.
I don't agree though. There's a part of her that is competitive.
Yeah, I can see that.
Way.
Yeah.
And it's actually not actually learned. So
Okay.
I can tell you exactly where I got it from. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I was just so confused. Like, it's a learned skill for you because sometimes it comes so naturally that it's a bit. But like Wei Ping said, it's a good thing. It's not a bad kind of competitiveness, but rather that one that pushes one to excel and also to push the ones beside you to excel as well. It's collaborative competitiveness, I would say, perhaps. Yeah. And what else? There's so much. Gratitude certainly bounce back, change agent. What? Everything is just so you. I said the unrealized strengths of humor. Are you sure you are hilarious?
No.
I don't know.
I had concern about that as well. I was like, why is it unrealized? I was a bit puzzled about it too. So what do you think, Liz? What are your thoughts?
I think I only very recently let it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why it's unrealized. Only recently let it out. You make it sound like some kind of cage animal.
Yeah, because I didn't know it was until I took this test. Then I realized, oh, okay, maybe humor is something that I can try to tap on more. So I started finding like funny pictures or posts, and I just reshare them. And I mean, it cheers me up, so I hope that it cheers other people up too.
And also your love for nonsensical songs. You know, it's like now every time I hear a parody or something, she's the first person that pops to my mind, and I'll just forward the video to her. Because I know she's going to get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, humor is also my unrealized strength, and I also went like, what happened? Yeah, so that was why I thought, okay, I need to make an attempt to be funny. So I think I started posting like, okay, I said, oh, I'm going to post one funny video on Facebook every day. I think it only lasted one day. Then I got too busy. I didn't bother. So, okay, the two of us, we must work on our unrealized strength of humor. We must let it out. We must uncage it, okay?
Okay. Release the beast. Oh.
Okay,
Watch
so
out.
wow, we have like 1 hour of stories of your superpower, Liz. How are you feeling right now?
Very, 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 very grateful. Like I feel like my head is very big now. But yeah, I'm just very touched, like that all of you have taken the time to do this with us. I see so many strengths in all of you too. And I mean, one of the things I noticed is that I think all of you are supposedly introverts in personality testing. But yet, yeah, you're willing to do this. And I think that's super brave and very, very touched and grateful. Oh, except Yana. I think Yana is probably...
Except the one that's not on the screen right now.
Yeah.
The one is definitely not, I repeat, not introvert. Well, see the kind of power you have. You actually activated a group of introverts to show up. I mean, that's phenomenal, no?
And I think that you're so full of gratitude. You know, I remember when you asked me and I said, okay, you're like, oh my gosh, you're really gonna do it, you know, kind of a thing. It's almost as though you didn't think that we're gonna do it. So I feel like perhaps, yeah, that shows the humility also, right? You don't take things for granted. You know, you don't expect that people should show up for you in that sense, and therefore when they do, you know, there's that immense gratitude. I think you thank us many times during the last 1 hour already. So yeah, so you are somebody who doesn't take things for granted, and you appreciate gestures from your friends in that sense, and maybe that's why we're all here, right? To show you that you know you're important and you're loved and we care for you. And what is 1 hour for Liz, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like, you know, inside me, I'm like, oh, but tell me something that I can work on, or what weakness do you spot in me? And that's just...
Stop!
Yeah, stop it.
This is a celebration show, okay? We're celebrating you.
And that's her love of learning, right? That's her love of
Yes.
learning, wanting to know and all that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mara, it's so me.
Yes, it's so her.
So adding to the fun
Thanks for
element, I'm going
accepting
to
me.
tell the backstory as the organizer of this. So when I first approached Liz and say I wanted to feature her for the next episode, she was happy. And then I said, please find guests who's willing, friends who's willing to come on the show and share your stories of strength. And she was like, oh, I don't know whether I can do that. I don't know if anyone is willing to do that. I said, it's okay. You just go and try, and then we see what happens. And so she was like so not confident, right? That she was not confident that anyone was going to say yes. And then like half an hour later, she WhatsApped me. She said, oh, I have about 4% coming. I was like, what on earth? It took her half an hour maximum, and she's the only one that was like, she really, that's the highest record that any of the she that's in spotlight was able to bring anyone. And it was only half an hour, and she was not confident at all that anyone would show up. And then she gave me a list. I was like dumbfounded. I was like, wow. I said, if everyone is like you, then it will make my life very easy. I don't have to go and find. So it was so amazing that people don't hesitate to say yes to you, but that's because of who you are.
Thank you, Joy. Yes, thanks for pushing me out of my comfort zone as well, like I told you. I don't know if it's a culture thing, but yeah, normally we don't like to talk good stuff about ourselves or ask people to, even worse, you know, I mean, even more, it's asking other people to toot our own horn. So it's a very interesting and very nice experience tonight.
I think,
but I bet that you will have no issue doing that for any one of us, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. I'm the first one.
Yeah, you wouldn't have no issue doing that for any one of us.
True. Good observation.
So, Liz, any new insight that you have learned from this 1 hour?
Oh, that I need to treat my friends more. I need to, okay. Let me step back. I need to appreciate myself more, my own strengths, acknowledge them, tap on them appropriately, and continue using that strengths lens to look at myself and look at others. So, I mean, I'm feeling it firsthand what it feels like when someone affirms you. So I want to bring that feeling more to other people.
Awesome. But as you can see, it still goes back to other people after one big circle. She still goes back to other people. Okay, thank you everyone for coming on the show, making time to allow this celebration of Liz to be so significant. It's your presence that is making this experience a memorable one for her. Thank you so much for coming here. So let's end this show with a high note. But before we do that, I'm going to bring Yana back in. And so I will need Mervin to facilitate the superpower pose. Okay, so let me bring her in.
Hello,
Yay!
Yana.
I'm back.
Oh, so Joy cannot be here at the same time?
No.
Yeah, only 6 at a time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's end our show on a high note with the superpower pose.
Yay!